Hello. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Badge. I'm your host, Sergeant Javier Salazar. Here at the Sapd, we like to stay ahead of things with fresh new ideas and programs. Some of these programs improve the quality of life. Some directly address certain crimes, and others save lives. Today we'll be talking about several of our life-saving programs. In one segment, Officer Misty Floyd will be talking to some officers from a program which, as you may recall, you heard about in our last episode about Officer Bobby Deckard. SAPD's Family Assistance Program helps the families of our officers in the event of a death or critical injury to an SAPD officer. Misty will be talking to some of these special officers about what they do for SAPD families at a crucial time in their lives. In an additional segment, Officer Roger Zuniga will introduce you to a civilian training program also aimed at saving lives. The SAPD recently partnered with News 4 WAI and Education Service Center Region 20 to produce a video that we call Civilian Response to Active Shooters. In short, it's a training video geared toward teaching the average citizen what to do in an active shooter situation. It's a great video, so I'll let Roger tell you all about it a little later. But first, you'll hear from yet another group of specially trained SAPD officers whom we call Tactical Medics, or TACMEDs. These specially trained officers save lives by filling a role and using equipment not traditionally associated with police officers. I can't wait to tell you all about them. We have a lot to cover today, so we're going to take a quick break, but stick around.
I had to go back to school to get a book I forgot. And the quickest way was across a busy highway. My dad had to identify my body.
Pedestrians should never be on a highway or expressway. Shortcuts can kill. Walk safe, San Antonio.
Welcome back. As I mentioned in the intro, we have several specially trained officers from various units in the department today. One of those units is here with me today. I've got Sergeant Edward Clower and Officer Rick Smith here from the Tactical Medic Program. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming in. We just, this program is something that always generates a lot of media interest, a lot of public interest, and we just kind of wanted to show our viewers a little bit about what you guys do today. I know it's a lot. So just, I guess without further ado, Sergeant Clower, how did this program start?
It started by one of the officers that in our department was exposed to some training and saw that it was a great opportunity for us, and he brought it back to command staff, and the department decided let's go forward with this program. Okay. There's a lot of benefit in it, and so that's how we got it off the ground. Okay,
so this was some sort of law enforcement training that this officer went to and brought it back to us from another agency?
Yes, originally the Border Patrol has been doing this for quite a long time and offered us the training, and we accepted and jumped at the opportunity.
Okay, what does the training involve?
The training involves a number of officers that are trained in their EMT licensing, and the purpose is to be able to provide medical care during dangerous situations or highly stressful situations where EMS is not yet there or unable to get there because the scene is still volatile. It's geared for not only police officers, but citizens as well.
Okay, so Rick, I guess you're actually one of the guys on the streets, the boots on the ground, so to speak,
yes,
implementing this stuff.
Yes.
What sort of things do y'all go through in training to prepare you guys for what you do?
So, like Sergeant Clower said, we all are, at a minimum, emergency medical technicians licensed by the state of Texas. But we take that civilian training and everything that we do, we put tactics with it. So okay. We really focus on care under fire. We do a lot of high-stress training. We do a lot of our interventions in a training environment where we're physically gassed, if you will, and then we're starting IVs, we're doing fine skills, we're doing patient assessments. So we try to make training very difficult, very hard, very physical, so if and when we have to do it under those circumstances, it becomes a little bit easier.
Okay, so this goes beyond, I mean, just to be clear, this kind of goes beyond just the normal CPR, putting a temporary splint on a broken bone, things like that. It goes a little bit more advanced than that.
Absolutely. Our tactical medics are trained in both basic life-saving interventions, but they're also trained in advanced life-saving interventions, such as advanced airway placement, IV access, IO access, is actually where we drill needles into bone to gain vascular access in case someone is been bleeding, and they need to, they're going into shock, and we need to try to reverse that. We also provide certain medications. So it's a complete program.
Wow,
it's a lot more than Band-Aids.
Okay, so you guys are administering meds and intubating and doing all that kind of stuff. Well, needless to say, I'm sure there's stories of success already out there. I know that through my office in PIO, we handle the awards ceremony that comes up every year. And I know last year there were quite a few TAC medics in that awards program. I'm assuming this year is going to be about the same?
Well, certainly last year we had 7 that were awarded. And this year we've nominated 6, so we have to see. We don't know yet. We hope.
Wow. Okay, that's great. How does an officer qualify to be a TAC med?
Well, he needs to be off probation, 1-year probation, have an exemplary history with the department, driving, discipline, work ethic. He needs to come highly recommended by his supervisors and peers.
Okay.
And then he puts himself through school.
Excellent. Okay. And I would imagine it's quite a bit of school that's involved in this, and ongoing training also?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Oh, and how many guys are on this team? How many guys and women are on this team?
Well, right now the department is set at, or the program is set at 40 officers, sworn officers in our program.
Okay. And I'm assuming it's not a full-time unit. These people work where?
They work all over. We try to make sure or ensure that they are in high-risk areas of the department patrol.
Okay.
We have a number on the SWAT team. We have officers that are spread out through all of the shifts. When we make critical incidents, we have officers there, officers on the gang unit, POP unit. The units that run lots of arrest warrants and search warrants, we try to make sure that those units are covered.
Okay. So, and these guys will also cross lines throughout the city. They're not going to stay in one patrol area. If their services are of use to somebody on the west side of town, they're going to make that drive from the east side if need be.
Absolutely.
That's correct. If they can get there, they will.
Okay. Does any of our training involve other agencies that we work with?
Yes, it does. So we partner up with the University of Texas Health Science Center, their Emergency Sciences Department, and they are kind of our oversight for all of our medical training. We're a self-training unit, but we utilize their staff, their instructors, and their expertise. We also border up with the Department of Homeland Security, Border Patrol, which our program kind of mirrors their program. So a lot of our tactical training, our tactical medic schools come through them. And recently we've hooked up with Bulverde Spring Branch Center for Emergency Healthcare Services, and our officers utilize their cadaver labs.
Okay.
So they're training on cadavers. Matter of fact, our next training we'll be doing some cadaver training.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. And this will be, I've seen that you guys also train in different environments. You'll do some stuff out in the woods. You'll do some urban stuff.
We try to mix it up as much as possible.
Yeah. I mean, we saw some of your training, and I believe we've got some pictures of it here that we've been showing throughout this interview that you guys actually trained in our parking garage over at the headquarters.
Yes, sir.
Y'all had these guys running up and down stairs and getting kind of dirty.
Yes, sir. It all goes back to stress inoculation. We want our operators, our medics, to be able to perform these interventions under extremely tough circumstances. And so it's a lot different than doing it in the classroom, than doing it when you have sweat and you're shaking and you can't catch your breath. And so we want them to be able to be successful.
Just interesting stuff, all of it. I'd love to have you guys back in at some point in the future to talk a little bit more about this. Obviously, we'd love to go attend some more of your training just to show the viewers what it is that y'all do on video and more photos. So great. I'm glad you guys exist. I'm glad you guys came in today. Great stuff. Thanks for coming on. Next up, Officer Misty Floyd is going to be talking to another unit within our department that contributes to everything that we do as a whole.
We were on our way to the park, and Dad decided it was still safe not to use the crosswalk.
I was wrong. My son and I paid for it with our lives.
Crosswalks are there to help protect us. Always cross at a marked crosswalk or an intersection with a signal. Walk safe, San Antonio.
Welcome back to Behind the Badge. I'm Officer Misty Floyd. Joining us now are Lieutenant Jimmy Sides and Officer Doug Green from the SAPD Family Assistance Team. We welcome both of you to the show. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
We're here to discuss a really great team that SAPD has put together, and I'd like to know a little bit more about what the mission of this team is.
Well, the Family Assistance Team is a group of volunteer officers who provide support and assistance for our officers. Anytime one of the officers is critically injured, perhaps he was diagnosed with a catastrophic illness, an immediate family member passes away, or unfortunately in those times when he does the ultimate sacrifice and is killed in the line of duty. So the officers step up, provide support for his family, whatever needs they have, whether it be transport, hotel for the family, planning the funeral arrangements, just basically whatever the family needs during that time.
And how were these officers selected to join the Family Assistance Team?
Whenever if we do have an opening in the team, or we see the need to add additional members, we put a notice out to the department through our daily bulletin and through email, asking for applicants. The officers contact us, let us know they'd like to be part of it. We have an interview process, usually with 3 members of the Family Assistance Team who form a panel. The officer interviews, and then from there we make our selection of who will be on the team.
So actually these officers are handpicked.
Yes, they are.
Safe to say that. And Doug Green, you were actually handpicked to join the team.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yeah.
What was your reasoning behind wanting to be a part of it?
It was just something that I felt just on the inside, something that I knew I wanted to do to serve my brother and sister officer, because we are one big family, and we have to take care of each other, and that's what prompted me to join the Family Assistance Team. I knew this was a great opportunity to do that.
Now, as you're working with the family, do you find yourself getting emotionally involved? It's a very, it's a taxing experience. Do you find yourself getting emotionally involved?
Oh, very much so. You become very close to the family, and it is very emotionally taxing, but the Family Assistance Unit in itself is very good at supporting you and helping you through the process that you're going through, and we even have a psychologist that's on the unit also.
Oh, wow.
That will call us and check on us, and even make arrangements for us to sit with them to help us process the crisis that we've taken the family through.
Okay. And Lieutenant, are these officers assigned 24/7 to the family side, or do they work in shifts?
Typically what we do is they're on call each month.
Okay.
So we have right now 2-man teams. We recently expanded the team to nearly 30 members, so I can go to a 3-man team. Because what we found is there's so much that in an event, if an officer is killed, there are so many responsibilities that go on that for one officer to handle it, it's overwhelming. So that's why we went to a 3-man team. So what we do is we put them on a monthly rotation. They alternate. Typically about every 9 months they'll have a watch during that month to help our officers.
Okay. And with Officer Bobby Deckard recently passing away, his family just spoke so highly of the team, and even mentioned that there were small details that they didn't even have to think about what they were going to eat for lunch, even coffee in the morning, because they were such small details that these officers paid attention to and just picked up on and took such excellent care of them. So they continue to rave about what great care that they received. Yeah. I know off prompter, Doug, you mentioned that this is like a calling within a calling.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, well, first of all, I mean, everybody on the unit, you have sergeants, you have lieutenants, you have safe officers, you have officers from all different parts of the department. But first and foremost, we are all police officers. Mm-hmm. And the first calling is being called to serve humanity and serve the community, and you just have to have a heart to serve people. But the calling within the calling is having that heart to serve people who serve people, okay, which is our brother and sister officers.
Wow. I really just admire both of you for stepping up and being a part of such an amazing program, and that you're able to go to other agencies and they can model our department's procedures. And I'm thankful that both of you came to the show today and that we could elaborate a little bit more on what this program offers. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very proud to be part of the team.
Thank you. We're going to take a quick break, but stick around.
I was out for my morning run. I used the crosswalk and obeyed the signal. but the driver turning right felt that his text message was more important than my life.
Drivers should always pay attention to pedestrians crossing at marked crosswalks. Let's share the roadway. Drive and walk safe, San Antonio.
It's easy to see why this program is so successful. As an officer, I'm thankful this dedicated team of officers exists. I hope and pray their services are never needed again, but I know they will rise to the occasion when duty calls. After this next break, Officer Zuniga will be introducing us to a program which shows us all what to do should we find ourselves in an active shooter event. We'll be right back, so stick around.
I was headed to the hospital to meet my brand new granddaughter. I stepped off the bus and tried to cross the street without looking. I was so excited that I didn't notice traffic hadn't stopped. I never made it across. I never met my granddaughter.
Crosswalks are there to help protect us. Always cross at a marked crosswalk or an intersection with a signal. Walk safe, San Antonio.
Welcome back to Behind the Badge. I'm Officer Roger Zuniga. As Sarge mentioned earlier, the SAPD partnered with WOAI and Region 20 to produce an instructional video for the civilian population. This video, called Civilian Response to Active Shooters, utilized our award-winning SWAT team and some talented actors to show the average citizen what to do in the event of an active shooter or workplace violence situation. Thankfully, most of us will never experience this, but we'll be better prepared if we can follow this program. We'd like to show you this after a short break.
Iba a comprarle un juguete a mi bisnieta. Al empezar a cruzar la calle, noté que no iba por el cruce de peatones. Como quiera, seguí cruzando. El chofer de la camioneta nunca me vio. Ahora mi bisnieta solamente me conoce por medio de fotografías.
Los cruces de peatones salvan vidas. Camine seguro, San Antonio.
Welcome back. I would like to introduce you to Officer Trey Turner. Trey Turner is with the San Antonio SWAT team. Trey, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
We've seen instances across the country where there have been active shooter situations, and I think people just need to have some basic information, basic understanding of what to do in case they're caught up in a situation like this. So what was the purpose in making this training video?
That was exactly the purpose. We've been giving out this training for probably 10, 12 years now to officers on how they should respond to active shooter scenes since Columbine High School. But since the Sandy Hook incident in Connecticut, they started having a need for what should actually the civilian do. You guys that are trained, have the guns, have the vest, have the training, what you know what to do. What should we do who don't have all the training and the guns? So we came up with the civilian response on how to do this, and we actually came up with the video of the run, hide, fight concept.
Very good. And I understand you guys get requests to do training because a lot of office workplaces want to say, I want to know, what do we do in case there is something that happens? How often do y'all get requests to do this?
We're getting requests several times a week to come and do this, put on this kind of training. So when we go out there and we present about an hour, hour and a half presentation to them, we do show a video very similar to this, and now we are able to come up with our own video so that we can actually get the information out to more people. Since there's only just a few of us and we can't be at every place at every time, the right. Video will be able to be disseminated across a wider range of people.
And in doing the presentations and showing the video you guys have, what kind of feedback have you been getting from the people you present to?
Everybody, the feedback's been very positive. They've been glad that somebody's actually telling them what to do and giving them just kind of a blueprint. When I'm under extreme stress, we start explaining to them that a lot of you may think you know what to do when you're under some stress, but let me tell you, this is probably how your body's going to respond, and this is what you should do. And that's what the presentation goes into, and the video hits on not sitting around and waiting for somebody else to do something, but taking decisive action to be an active participant in your own survival.
Very good. What's the most important message you'd like to get out to someone who's they find themselves in a situation like this, which hopefully they never will, but in the event they do, what's the most important thing you want to stress to the people out there in case they do find themselves in something like this?
Well, Roger, if somebody ever finds themselves in a situation like this, the main thing is like what I just said, is to be an active participant in your own survival, is to stay calm, realize that you do have a say in what's going on, that get in there, and if you can get out of the building, get out of the building. If you can't get out, do your best to deny that person access to where you're at, and if for whatever reason he's right there in front of you, then fight for your life and be ready to go down swinging if need be.
So I guess the three letters or 3 words, run, hide, fight, really do emphasize what we want people to understand about it. Run, hide, or fight.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All this information has been excellent, and I really appreciate you coming on the show. These tips, I know, hopefully we'll never have something like that here in San Antonio, but in the case we do, I think because of what you guys do and the training you put on and this video, I think we'll be better prepared as a city to handle anything that we come across. So thank you very much. I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Coming up next is going to be the video that we've been talking about, the civilian response to active shooters. Take a look.
News 4 and the San Antonio Police Department have joined forces to make this active shooter training video to give you the tools you'll need to increase your chances of survival should you ever find yourself in an active shooter situation. Thankfully, though, most of us never will.
To be clear, this is not an anti-gun video, and by no means is the information in this video fail-proof. Some of the techniques you learn may need to be adapted to suit certain situations.
Now, the sole purpose of this training video is to help empower you and motivate you to be proactive in developing your own plan.
Know when it's time to run, know where you're going to hide, and if necessary, be prepared to fight.
It's a typical day at work. You're sitting at your desk doing what you always do, and then you hear this. You're confused, shocked, scared. Stay calm, keep your composure, but move. Do not waste time. Trust your gut and go. It's time to run. Help others if you can, and get out of the building any way you can. Look for the closest exit and be aware of alternate exit routes. Once you're outside, call 911 immediately.
We're going to need somebody here quick.
The operator will need as much information as you can give them. The name of the building, the location, how many people may still be inside, how many may be hurt. They'll need suspect information, race, gender, a description of the suspect. Is there more than one shooter? And what kind of weapon they're carrying. And if you see unsuspecting coworkers heading for the door, stop them from going inside. If you are not near an exit and you cannot safely get out of the building, it's time to hide. Get out of the hallways and common areas. Gunmen typically use them as hunting grounds. Find a room and lock the door. Block the door with whatever you can find. A desk, file cabinet, a printer. Turn off the lights, radios, monitors, and silence your cell phone. Do your best to hide behind something big enough that may shield you from bullets. If you or someone with you is bleeding, apply pressure and try to elevate the wound. Help may not arrive until the shooter is stopped. As hard as it may be, don't try to rescue anyone on the other side of that door. You don't know where the shooter is. He could be right up the hallway. And you don't want to place anyone else inside this room in any danger. Also, he could be trying to trick you into opening that door by pretending to be someone who needs help. Stay down, stay quiet. Create a sense that no one is inside that room. If there's nowhere to run and nowhere to hide, be prepared to fight. There is strength in numbers. If you're with a group, organize an ambush-style surprise attack and grab anything you can find to hurt the shooter and defend yourself.
Your number one priority should be to do whatever it takes to stop the gunman immediately. If possible, take control of the weapon. If he lets the weapon go or can't control it, you've won more than half the battle. Whatever you decide to do, make sure your actions are swift and decisive. Hesitation can be deadly in a situation like this when seconds count. If you have a concealed handgun license and have your own gun, choose your actions carefully. Make sure no coworkers are behind the shooter or you. You don't want to accidentally shoot someone or have the gunman return fire and hit someone behind you. And protect your weapon. He may fight you for it. Remember, if you do decide to fight, you'll be fighting for your life. Your goal should be to win by any means necessary.
When police arrive, remember, they are looking for someone holding a weapon. Put your hands up. Don't make any sudden moves. If you are a licensed handgun holder, make sure you set your gun down. Step away from it and put your hands up. Make it clear you're not a threat to anyone. You may be searched, even handcuffed by police. Until law enforcement is certain the threat no longer exists, you are to do exactly as they say until you're let out of the building.
Again, these are only guidelines. Some of the techniques you've seen here may need to be modified to better suit your workplace or even your own home.
And one last piece of advice here, create an alert system for employees via social media sites like Twitter and Facebook. If there is an active shooter situation, think about who will be in charge of sending out those alerts.
The bottom line, have an emergency plan in place and practice it often. The odds of you becoming a victim of an active shooter situation are low, but if it does happen, you'll be more prepared.
On behalf of News 4 San Antonio and the San Antonio Police Department, be safe and thanks for watching.
That brings yet another episode to a close. Thanks so much for tuning in. We hope the information we presented will be useful to you. As always, we like to use our show to give you an inside look at what we do behind the badge of the SAPD. We'd like to take this opportunity to ask you, our viewers, to provide us some feedback. How are we doing? What would you like to hear about on future episodes? Keep those emails for story ideas and feedback coming to behindthebadge@sanantonio.gov. Check out this and episodes from our past on our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/San Antonio PD. Until next time, I'm Sergeant Javier Salazar. Thank you for watching Behind the Badge.
Hello, I'm San Antonio Police Chief William McManus.
And I'm Red McCombs.
Driving too close to big rigs is dangerous, so don't get too close or speed around rigs.
And don't cut off trucks. Don't tailgate and don't speed.
And don't get a ticket. Aggressive driving is also against the law.
Leave more space for trucks.
Today, we gather to recognize the selfless decision of one of the most influential women of our time. The woman who, after having one too many drinks, chose not to drive home buzzed. Here today to honor Rachel is the family whose lives she spared.
Did you know that getting up and getting active for just 60 minutes a day is all it takes to help you get stronger, look better, and feel great?
Or that fresh fruits and veggies aren't just healthier and crunchier, they can taste better too?
Eating better and getting more active is easier than you think.
Yeah! Keep watching for some fun and easy ways to discover the magic of healthy living in your life.
America.
Let's get healthy together!